The journey to Voxar took 3 Earth months, during which Kate learned the basics of Zara's language and customs. She absorbed information, quickly impressing Zara with her adaptability. Humans were known for this trait, but experiencing it firsthand made Zara appreciate her companion even more. Zara spent hours explaining Voxar society to Kate, preparing her for what would be a significant culture shock. The Voxar were a highly structured society with clear hierarchies based on intellectual achievement and scientific contribution. Emotions were considered secondary to logic, and personal attachments were rare among her people. "Are you sure they will accept me?" Kate asked one night as they shared a meal in the ship's small dining area. "What if they see me as just a research specimen?" Zara considered this carefully. "My mentor, Professor Nix, has approved your status as a cultural exchange representative. You will have protection under academic protocols." Kate smiled, but her eyes showed concern. "Academic protocols sound very formal. Will we still be able to be together, or will I be kept in some research facility?" Reaching across the table, Zara took Kate's hand, a gesture she had grown fond of. "I have arranged shared quarters in the Academy residential complex. It is unconventional, but Professor Nix agreed it would provide optimal observation conditions." Kate laughed. "That's your way of saying you convinced them to let us live together?" Zara felt warmth spread through her chest. "Yes, that is correct." As their ship entered the Voxar system, Kate spent hours at the viewport watching the twin suns and 7 planets come into view. Voxar itself was the 3rd planet, a swirling mass of purple and green with sprawling city structures. Visible even from orbit, it's beautiful. Kate whispered, her face illuminated by the planet's glow, so different from Earth. Different, but perhaps complementary. Zara suggested standing beside her. Just as we are, the landing was smooth, the ship settling onto a crystalline platform at the Academy spaceport. Zara felt nervous energy coursing through her, a sensation she had rarely experienced before meeting. Kate bringing a human to Voxar was unprecedented, and she worried about the reception they would receive. Professor Nix waited for them at the arrival gate, her tall blue form imposing even among other Voxar, her 6-fingered hands clasped before her in the traditional greeting posture. "Welcome back, researcher Zara. Your transmission data has been most illuminating. The Academic Council is eager for your full report." "Thank you." Professor Zara responded with a formal bow. "This is Engineer Kate Mitchell, the human representative I communicated about." Nix turned her large eyes to Kate, studying her with scientific interest. "Fascinating. Your physical parameters match our projections. Can you understand our language?" Kate nodded, speaking carefully in basic Voxar. "I have learned some with Zara's help. Thank you for allowing me to visit your world." Nix seemed surprised at Kate's attempt at their language. "An impressive effort. The translation implants we have prepared should help with more complex communication." A small crowd of Voxar scientists had gathered at a distance, observing the interaction with Kate, many taking notes or capturing images. Zara felt protective seeing Kate being studied so openly, but Kate seemed unfazed, even waving at some of the observers. The Academy had prepared a hovercraft for transport to the residential complex. As they moved through the city, Kate pressed against the window, taking in the towering crystal structures and flowing architecture of Voxar buildings. "Your cities are like living organisms," Kate said. "Everything connects everything." Zara felt pride hearing Kate appreciate her world. "Humans understand beauty and function. That is something our species share." Their assigned quarters were spacious by Academy standards, a main living area, 2 study chambers, and a sleeping chamber. The walls shifted colors based on atmospheric conditions, currently a soft lavender. As evening approached, Professor Nix handed them both identification chips. "These will grant you access to approved Academy facilities. Engineer Mitchell has clearance for engineering, laboratories, cultural centers, and common areas, but restricted access to biological research sectors for safety protocols." After Nix departed, Kate explored their new home, running her hands along the responsive surfaces that adjusted temperature. To her touch, the furniture reconfigured as she approached, adapting to her human proportions. "It knows what I need." Kate marveled as a chair formed perfectly to support her spine. Adaptive technology. Zara explained it reads biological signatures and adjusts accordingly. Kate suddenly looked tired, the journey and excitement catching up with her. This is all amazing, but I think reality is hitting me. I'm actually on an alien planet light years from home. Zara approached cautiously, unsure how to provide comfort. Do you regret coming with me? Kate shook her head. No, not at all. It's just overwhelming in the best possible way, but also a little scary. I've left everything I knew behind. Understanding dawned on Zara. Humans needed time to process. Emotional transitions, a concept her people often overlooked. The sleeping chamber will provide optimal rest conditions. Perhaps tomorrow will bring better perspective. That night, as Kate slept, Zara watched the rise and fall of her chest, marveling at how this human had changed her perspective on everything. Her research, her career, her understanding of connections. She had come to Earth to study humans as specimens, but returned with something far more valuable. The following morning brought their first challenge, a message from the Academic Council requesting Kate's presence for evaluation. Zara felt tension between her duty to the Academy and her desire to protect Kate from becoming merely a research subject. The Council wants to see me, Kate said. Reading the translated message from her communication panel is that normal. Zara hesitated. It is expected. You are the first human to willingly visit Voxar. They will have questions. Many questions. Kate straightened her shoulders. Well, then I better make a good impression for humanity. Should I wear something special? Zara felt a surge of admiration for Kate's courage. No. Your current attire is suitable. The Council is interested in your knowledge and perspective, not your appearance. Together, they walked through the Academy grounds, drawing curious glances from students and researchers. Kate maintained her composure, even stopping occasionally to greet interested Voxar with careful pronunciation of their greeting phrases. Zara realized she was witnessing something remarkable. Kate was not just adapting, she was engaging, forming connections, showing that humans could bridge gaps between vastly different species. If given the chance, the council chamber loomed before them, a circular room with 7 tall Voxar seated at elevated positions. Zara squeezed Kate's hand once before they entered silently, promising that whatever happened, she would not let Kate become just another entry in the Voxar research archives. The academic council session lasted 4 hours as Kate answered countless questions about human society, technology, and biology. She maintained remarkable patience even when the questions became personal or repetitive. Zara noticed the council members, leaning forward with increasing interest as Kate described human innovation. Despite limited resources, humans adapt quickly when faced with challenges. Kate explained, "We find ways to solve problems with whatever materials we have available." Council. Elder Mix, the oldest member with pale blue skin, tilted her head, fascinating. And this adaptability extends to emotional contexts as well. Kate glanced at Zara before answering. Yes, we form connections quickly too, sometimes finding common ground with those very different from ourselves. After the session ended, Council Elder Vox approached them privately. Engineer Mitchell, your insights are valuable. Would you consider allowing our medical research division to conduct non-invasive scans of your biological system? Zara started to object, but Kate placed a hand on her arm, gently stopping her. I would agree on 2 conditions, Kate replied. First, that I receive copies of all data collected, and second, that I be permitted to observe your medical technology in operation as part of our exchange. Elder Vox seemed surprised by the counteroffer, then nodded acceptable terms. Your species negotiates well. As they left the council chambers, Zara felt both pride and concern. You handled that impressively, but you must be cautious. Our medical researchers can become overzealous. Kate smiled. I know, but I'm genuinely curious about your medical technology, and this gives me legitimate access. Plus, I noticed something today. What did you notice? The council members started treating me differently. When I demonstrated knowledge, they respected technical information more than cultural information. I need to show my value as an engineer, not just as a human specimen. Zara realized Kate had identified a core aspect of Voxar society that had taken her years to understand. Impressive observation. The engineering division will be most interested in your perspective over the next few weeks. Kate immersed herself in Voxar life, spending mornings in the engineering Laboratories, afternoons and medical scans, and evenings exploring the city with Zara. She learned quickly adapting Voxar tools to her human hands and offering suggestions that sometimes surprised the Voxar engineers. With their simplicity and effectiveness, Zara continued her research work, but found herself increasingly distracted watching Kate interact with her people. Kate had a natural ability to connect even with the most reserved Voxar scientists. Something about her openness and genuine curiosity broke through their analytical distance. One evening, as they walked through the floating gardens that connected academy buildings, Kate stopped suddenly to watch a small group of young Voxar engaged in mathematical competition, their fingers moving rapidly through holographic equations. Zara, they're just children, but they're solving equations I studied in advanced university courses. Zara nodded. Mathematical reasoning begins early in our development. It is the foundation of our education system. They're laughing. Kate observed, they're enjoying it. It's like a game to them. Yes. Zara confirmed, learning is pleasurable for Voxar children, though we tend to lose that joy as we age, replacing it with duty and purpose. Kate was quiet for a moment before asking, do you enjoy your work, Zara? Or is it just duty? The question caught Zara off guard. No. Voxar had ever asked about her enjoyment of research. It was simply expected that one would contribute to knowledge advancement. I never considered the question. Before meeting you, I fulfilled my function. Now I find myself experiencing satisfaction when discoveries have meaning beyond data collection. Meaning, Kate echoed. That's what connects us. Humans need meaning in our work too. Not just results. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message on Zara's communication panel. Professor Nix requesting their immediate presence at the laboratory complex. Something is wrong, Zara said, reading the message quickly. We must go. They hurried across the academy grounds to find Professor Nix waiting with several security officers, her expression grave. Engineer Mitchell, your presence has created a situation we did not anticipate. What situation? Kate asked. A faction of our Biological Preservation Society believes human interaction threatens Voxar purity. They have filed a formal petition to the High Council demanding your quarantine and immediate return to Earth quarantine. Kate repeated, her face paling. They want to lock me up, not while I am here, Zara stated, firmly placing herself between Kate and the security officers. What evidence supports their petition? Professor Nix gestured to a data screen showing medical results from Kate's scans. Certain microbial organisms in Engineer Mitchell's system are evolving to adapt to Voxar biology. The Preservation Society claims this represents contamination. Kate shook her head. That's ridiculous. My microbiome adapting doesn't mean it's harmful. Has anyone actually identified a pathogenic pathway? The security officers looked at each other, clearly surprised by Kate's technical response. Professor Nix seemed impressed by her understanding. No, Engineer Mitchell, they have not. Which is why I believe this petition is politically motivated rather than scientifically sound. What do we do now? Zara asked. You both will need to present evidence at an emergency council hearing tomorrow. Professor Nix explained. I suggest preparing thoroughly. The Preservation Society is small but influential back in their quarters. Kate paced while Zara reviewed the medical data. This is just fear of the unknown. Kate said they haven't even tried to understand the adaptation process. These microbes could be beneficial, creating a bridge between our biologies. Zara looked up from the data, surprised by Kate's insight. You may be correct. Several of these adaptations appear to be forming symbiotic rather than pathogenic relationships. Kate sat down next to Zara. We need to reframe this entire conversation. Instead of defending against contamination claims, we should present this as an unprecedented opportunity to study biological adaptation and symbiosis. Together they worked through the night preparing their presentation, Kate drawing on her engineering background to suggest practical applications, while Zara provided the biological framework that would appeal to the council. The morning brought tense atmosphere as they entered the council chambers. The room now filled with observers, including members of the Preservation Society. Their pale blue skin marked with traditional red symbols of purity. Elder Mix called the session to order. We gather to address concerns of biological contamination from the human visitor. Engineer Kate Mitchell, representative of the Preservation Society. You may present your case, a tall Voxar with elaborate red markings stood esteemed counsel. We have detected 17 distinct microorganisms from the human that have begun adapting to Voxar biochemistry. Our simulations suggest potential disruption to our ecological systems within one planetary cycle. If left unchecked, murmurs spread through the chamber as images of cell division and adaptation appeared on the main viewing screen. Contamination of this nature, the representative continued, cannot be permitted regardless of academic interest. We demand immediate quarantine and removal. Elder Mix turned to Kate and Zara. Engineer Mitchell, researcher Zara, your response. Kate stood confidently approaching the center of the chamber with Zara beside her honorable counsel. What you're seeing is not contamination but communication. These microorganisms are creating biological bridges between our species, adapting to enable coexistence, not competitions, she gestured to Zara, who displayed their alternative analysis. The data shows symbiotic potential, not pathogenic threat. These adaptations could lead to medical breakthroughs, beneficial to both species. The council members leaned forward, studying the new perspective. As Kate continued, in engineering, we call this interface development, creating systems that allow different technologies to work together. What if these microbes are natural interfaces allowing our biologies to interact safely? Zara stepped forward, adding humans and Vox are evolved in different environments but share fundamental biological principles. These adaptations demonstrate the universal nature of life. Finding ways to connect rather than conflict. For 3 hours the debate continued, Kate and Zara presenting evidence while the Preservation Society raised objections. Finally, Elder Vox raised his hand for silence. We have heard sufficient arguments. This matter requires further study, but not isolation. Engineer Mitchell will continue, her work under monitored conditions, not quarantine. The potential benefits outweigh the theoretical risks. The Preservation Society representative stood to object, but Elder Mix cut him off. Our decision is final. This exchange program will continue. With additional safeguards, as they left the chamber, Zara felt relief wash over her. They had succeeded for now, but the Preservation Society would not give up easily. That night, as they sat on the balcony of their quarters, watching Voxar's 3 moons rise, Kate took Zara's hand. We make a good team. Zara nodded. Indeed. Your perspective complements mine in unexpected ways. Kate looked out at the alien cityscape gleaming under moonlight. I think that's what they're really afraid of. What do you? Man, that we fit together so well that humans and Voxar might actually need each other. That scares them more than any microbe. 2 months passed as Kate integrated further into Voxar society. She now spoke the language fluently enough to teach basic engineering principles to academy students. Her classes became unexpectedly popular, drawing students from various disciplines, curious about human problem-solving approaches. Zara watched with growing admiration as Kate adapted teaching methods to Voxar learning styles, using holographic models and interactive simulations that allowed students to experience human engineering principles firsthand. During one demonstration, Kate showed how humans had solved water purification challenges with limited resources on Earth, colony worlds instead of complex molecular filters. She demonstrated simple sand and charcoal filtration, systems that could be built anywhere. The elegance of limitation, a student commented after class, impressive results with minimal resources. Kate smiled. That's humanity in a nutshell. We work with what we have. And sometimes that limitation sparks creativity. Student tilted her head, similar to how music emerges from the constraints of rhythm and tone. Perhaps limitations are universal catalysts for innovation. Zara noticed these philosophical connections happening more frequently as Kate's presence challenged Voxar thinking patterns. Their society had advanced through abundance and optimization, while humans had evolved through adaptation to scarcity. The contrasting approaches created fascinating dialogues. Not everyone appreciated these changes, though. The Preservation Society continued monitoring Kate, documenting every interaction and filing regular complaints with the Academic Council. Their opposition remained mostly procedural until the engineering breakthrough Kate had been working with. The Academy's Energy Division studying Voxar power generation systems. When she identified an inefficiency in their containment fields, It was minor, easily overlooked by Voxar engineers accustomed to abundance. But Kate's experience with limited resources made the waste apparent. If you modify the field harmonics here and here, Kate explained to the engineering team, you could increase efficiency by 7% and reduce rare element consumption. The team implemented her suggestions and verified the results. The improvement was immediately adopted across academy systems and news spread quickly. A human had optimized Voxar technology, something unprecedented. That evening, as they prepared for dinner in their quarters, the communication panel chimed with an urgent message from Professor Nixwe. "Need you both in the council chambers immediately," she said, her expression grave. The Preservation Society has escalated their petition. When they arrived, the chambers were filled with Voxar. From various academy divisions, the atmosphere tense with unusual emotional energy. Elder Mix called for order. The Preservation Society has submitted evidence claiming Engineer Mitchell has compromised critical infrastructure security by accessing core systems. They demand immediate cessation of the exchange program. The preservation representative stood. Engineer Mitchell has altered fundamental energy systems without proper security clearance. Her modifications provide potential access points for human exploitation should Earth forces wish to compromise Voxar defenses. The accusation hung in the air, absurd yet serious. Zara felt anger rising, an emotion she rarely experienced before meeting Kate Elder. Vox turned to Kate. "Your response, Engineer." Mitchell. Kate remained calm, facing the council directly. "The modification I suggested was to improve efficiency, not to create access points. The engineering division verified and implemented the changes through proper protocols I never accessed. Core systems directly." Director Licks of the Energy Division stood to confirm Engineer Mitchell worked under supervision at all times. "The efficiency improvements have been validated and benefit our systems. The security concerns are unfounded," but the preservation representative pressed forward. "This proves humans are studying our critical infrastructure. Any knowledge shared could be weaponized against Voxar in future conflicts." "Conflicts?" Kate questioned. "There are no conflicts between our worlds. We barely knew of each other's existence until recently." Zara stepped forward. "The Preservation Society speaks of theoretical threats while ignoring actual benefits. This exchange has already improved Voxar technology and expanded our understanding of biological adaptation." The debate grew heated, unusual for the normally composed Voxar Council members, arguing points with increasing intensity. Finally, Elder Mix raised her hands for silence. "This situation requires deeper consideration. The Council will deliberate in private. Engineer Mitchell will remain under supervision until our decision is reached," as guards escorted them from the chambers. Zara felt dread building. This political maneuver could end everything they had built together. Back in their quarters now under surveillance, Kate paced, frustrated. "I came here to learn and share knowledge, not to be treated as a security threat." Zara monitored the communication channels, trying to gather information. "Professor Nix is advocating for you, but the Preservation Society has support from the Security Division. They fear what they do not understand." Kate stopped pacing. Suddenly, "No, they fear what they do understand. That's the problem." "What do you mean?" Zara asked. "They see how quickly I've integrated, how easily our species can work together. It threatens their belief in Voxar superiority. If a primitive human can improve their perfect systems, what does that say about their assumptions?" Zara considered this. "You may be right. The Preservation Society values isolation. They believe advancement comes from within, not through exchange." Kate sat beside Zara, taking her blue hands. "So what do we do now?" "We wait," Zara replied, but not passively. "I will contact allies in other divisions, gather support. Your students, the engineers you've worked with, they can speak to your contributions." Through the night, messages flowed. As Zara reached out to colleagues throughout the academy, many responded with support for Kate, particularly those who had worked directly with her. The engineering students organized a formal petition arguing that the exchange program represented the future of innovation. Morning brought surprising news. Professor Nix arrived at their quarters with an unusual expression. Excitement breaking through her typical reserve. "The Council has not only dismissed the Preservation Society's petition, They have expanded the exchange program. What Kate asked, not believing what she heard. Professor Nix handed them a data crystal, your efficiency. Modifications revealed something unexpected when implemented across all Academy systems. They created a harmonic stabilization effect in our planetary defense grid, something our engineers had been attempting to achieve for decades. Zara looked at Kate with amazement. You solved a problem you didn't even know existed, apparently. So Kate said, still processing the information. The Council has authorized a new joint initiative. Professor Nix continued, human adaptive thinking combined with Voxar. Precision could advance both our civilizations. You are being offered leadership positions in this program. If you accept, Kate looked at Zara, her eyes asking a silent question. Zara nodded. Yes, we accept. The new initiative transformed their status overnight. From tolerated visitors to respected leaders, Kate and Zara were assigned a research team and laboratory space. The first truly collaborative human Voxar project in history. Their work focused on developing technologies that could benefit both worlds. Combining Voxar efficiency with human adaptability, teams on Earth were connected through quantum communication channels, allowing real-time collaboration across the light years as weeks passed. Kate noticed subtle changes in Voxar behavior around them, more questions about human culture, not just technology, more interest in emotional responses and creative thinking. Zara, too, was changing, becoming more expressive, less bound by traditional Voxar restraint. One evening, as they walked through the city center, now a familiar routine, Kate stopped at a public art installation where young Voxar were creating collaborative light sculptures. Something new in the usually structured society. Look at that, Zara, Kate whispered. They're playing with the design, not following patterns. Zara observed with interest, creative expression, without predetermined outcome. Unusual for our youth education. A small Voxar child approached Kate, her blue skin still bright with youth. Engineer Kate, will you add? To our creation we need a human perspective. Kate knelt beside the child. What are you trying to create? The child gestured to the swirling lights. Anything we want. That's what you taught us in your lecture. Imagination creates possibilities that logic alone cannot foresee. Kate looked up at Zara, who stood watching with an expression of wonder. This cultural exchange was becoming something far more significant than either of them had imagined. It was the beginning of transformation for both species. That night, as they prepared research notes for the next day's work, Kate broached the subject they had both been avoiding. Zara, my original commitment to the exchange program was for 1 Earth year. That's almost halfway complete now. What happens when the year ends? Zara set down her datapad. The question had been in her thoughts as well. Initially, I assumed you would return to Earth, and our research would continue through communication channels. And now, Kate prompted, now I cannot imagine returning to research without you beside me. Zara admitted, the connection we have formed extends beyond academic interest. Kate moved closer, taking Zara's hands in hers. I don't want to leave either, but I also miss some things about Earth. Sunshine, trees, the ocean, human foods. The proposal for a permanent exchange program gained momentum. Quickly, Kate and Zara prepared detailed plans for embassy structures on both worlds, with sustainable transportation systems and communication networks. Professor Nix provided political support, navigating council procedures, while the engineering division contributed technical specifications. Evan Eldermick showed enthusiasm at the preliminary hearing. This initiative represents the most significant interspecies cooperation in Voxar history. The potential benefits for both civilizations are substantial. Kate presented economic projections showing how targeted technology exchanges could solve resource limitations on Earth, while providing Voxar with fresh perspectives on innovation. Zara followed with cultural integration models predicting a harmonious blending of their societies over time. Only the Preservation Society remained opposed, though their objections now seemed increasingly hollow against the wave of support. Both the academic and engineering councils had voted to advance the proposal to the Planetary Council for final approval. The night before the final vote, Kate and Zara celebrated with a small gathering of colleagues in their quarters. The atmosphere was relaxed, hopeful as they shared food and conversation. Tomorrow will change everything, Professor Nix said, raising a glass of shimmering Voxar nectar to new horizons. Kate smiled, taking Zara's hand. I never imagined when I met a mysterious visitor At our outpost that I'd end up helping create an interplanetary alliance, Director Lix of Engineering laughed. You have a talent for understatement. Engineer Mitchell, your efficiency modifications alone have advanced our technology by decades. The exchange of knowledge has only just begun as the celebration continued. Kate slipped away to the balcony, needing a moment of quiet beneath the alien stars. Zara followed, finding her gazing at the night sky. Are you well? Zara asked, concerned by Kate's sudden withdrawal. Kate nodded, just overwhelmed in a good way. When I look up, I can't even see Earth from here yet. Somehow I feel more connected to humanity than ever through what we're building. Zara stood beside her human partner. Understanding the complex emotions Kate experienced, my people have traveled the stars for centuries, yet never truly connected with another species until now. You have changed us. Kate, Mitchell, changed us both. Kate corrected, turning to face Zara. I'm not the same person who left that outpost. Their moment was interrupted by an urgent alert from the security system. Professor Nix rushed to the balcony, her expression grave. We have a problem. The Preservation Society has released classified information about the exchange, programmed to the public with dangerous modifications. What modifications? Kate asked. They claim the embassy project is a pretext for human colonization. Nix explained they've edited your presentations to suggest Earth plans to send thousands of humans. To Voxar, public fear is spreading rapidly. Zara activated the news feed, seeing crowds gathering in the city center, protesters with the red symbols of the Preservation Society chanting slogans against human influence. The council has called an emergency session we must attend immediately. They rushed to the council chambers, finding chaos unlike anything in recent Voxar history. Council members arguing openly as protesters filled the public galleries. Elder Mix struggled to maintain order. The Preservation representative stood at the center of the chamber. We have exposed the truth of this human infiltration. Their efficiency improvements were the first step in mapping our defenses for future exploitation. The embassy project will open our world to invasion lies, Kate shouted, unable to contain her frustration. The modifications are transparent and were verified by your own engineers. Elder Vox raised his hand for attention. We have reviewed the Preservation Society's evidence. Much appears selectively, edited to promote fear rather than understanding. But the damage was spreading through Voxar society faster than reason could contain it. The Preservation Society had prepared well, targeting ancient fears of outside contamination that lingered in Voxar cultural memoria. As the session descended further into disorder, a sudden explosion rocked the chamber, debris falling as smoke filled the air. Security forces rushed in, evacuating council members amid the confusion. Zara grabbed Kate, pulling her toward an emergency exit. We must get to safety. This was planned. Outside chaos had engulfed the typically orderly city, protesters clashing with security forces as emergency alarms sounded throughout the academy complex. Zara led Kate through back passages toward the research laboratories. Where are we going? Kate asked as they ran through deserted corridors. To Professor Nix's private laboratory. Zara explained it has secure communications and independent systems. They found Professor Nix already there, with Director Lix and several loyal researchers monitoring the situation across multiple screens. The Preservation Society has initiated a coordinated attack. Nix informed them security systems in 3 sectors were compromised simultaneously. They're claiming human sabotage. That's ridiculous, Kate protested. I've been with you or Zara constantly. Exactly. Nix nodded, which proves this was planned internally, likely before you even arrived. They've been waiting for an opportunity. The exchange program becoming permanent threatened their ideology beyond tolerance. Director Lix studied security feeds. The Planetary Council has ordered a lockdown and investigation. But public opinion is turning against the exchange program. The Preservation Society is broadcasting doctored footage suggesting Kate accessed restricted systems. Zara felt cold fear spreading through her body. They will not stop at propaganda. Kate is in danger. Here. Nix nodded grimly. I agree. We need to get both of you off planet until this situation stabilizes. Off planet, Kate repeated. But our work, the embassy project, may be delayed but not defeated, Nix said firmly. If you remain, the Preservation Society will fabricate evidence against you. The truth will be lost in fear. Director, Lix access to secure terminal. I can prepare your research vessel for emergency departure, but we must move quickly before flight restrictions are implemented. Kate looked at Zara, torn between staying to fight the false accusations and recognizing the increasing danger. Zara, we can't just leave everything we've built. We are not abandoning our work. Zara assured her we are protecting it by removing their target. Once the investigation reveals the Preservation Society's deception, we can return and continue. As they gathered essential research data and personal items, alarms sounded throughout the complex security breach. Alerts flashing across the screens. They're coming for you. Nix warned. Accessing the surveillance system, preservation forces have convinced security that Kate represents an imminent threat. They've authorized detention measures. No time to waste. Director Lix urged, leading them through a maintenance tunnel that connected the laboratory complex to the research vessel docking bay. We must reach your ship before they lock down all transport. The tunnel stretched for nearly a kilometer, dimly lit, and rarely used, their footsteps echoing as they ran. Kate struggled to process how quickly their celebration had turned to escape. Zara kept pace beside her, communicating with Academy allies through her neural link. Professor Kix confirms the Preservation Society staged the explosion as a false flag operation. Evidence is being gathered, but it will take time. They reached the docking bay, finding it eerily empty. Most personnel evacuated during the security alert. Director Lix overrode the security protocols, opening access to Zara's research vessel. You must go now, Lix urged as the ship's entry ramp descended. I've programmed coordinates for a neutral research outpost in the Centauri system. Allies there will grant you sanctuary until the situation resolves. Kate hesitated, looking back at the academy that had become her home. We're leaving everything behind. Not everything, Zara said. Taking her hand, we have our research data, our experiences, and each other. We will return when it's safe. Professor Nix joined them at the ship, her expression solemn. I will continue fighting for the truth here. The exchange program is too important. To abandon those of us who believe in cooperation will not surrender to fear. Thank you, Kate said, embracing the Voxar professor, surprising her with the human gesture of affection as they boarded the ship. Alerts sounded throughout the docking bay. Security forces had discovered their location and were moving to intercept. Director Lix sealed the maintenance tunnel, buying them precious minutes for launch preparations. The ship's systems came online as Zara initiated launch sequences. Kate secured their research data in the ship's protected archives, feeling the weight of responsibility for all they had discovered together. Launch clearance denied. The automated system announced security override in progress. Zara moved quickly, inputting emergency research protocols that would temporarily override the restrictions. Nix had provided the authorization codes before they left. I have partial clearance. Manual launch required. Kate took the secondary controls, working in perfect synchronization with Zara as they had learned to do over months of partnership, bypassing automated systems and engaging manual thrusters. The ship shuddered as docking clamps released, security forces visible now through the viewport rushing toward them, weapons drawn, but too late as the ship lifted free of the platform, accelerating toward the atmosphere. Through the rear sensors they watched the Academy complex recede, growing smaller as they climbed higher, leaving behind both friends and enemies. The dream of cooperation temporarily deferred but not defeated. The journey to the Centauri research outpost took 17 days, during which Kate and Zara reorganized their research and planned their next steps. They received encrypted communications from Professor Nix, updating them on the situation at Voxar. The investigation progresses slowly. Nix reported public opinion remains divided, but evidence of Preservation Society tampering with security systems is gaining acceptance. Elder Mix has called for a full review of all claims against you. The outpost came into view through the main viewport, a collection of interconnected structures orbiting a gas giant, similar to the one where Kate and Zara had first met. It was operated by a coalition of independent researchers from various species, a neutral territory where scientific cooperation took precedence over political conflicts. Director Vela of the outpost greeted them upon arrival, her species unknown to Kate, with iridescent skin that shifted colors as she spoke. We received Professor Nix's
message detailing your situation. You are welcome here for as long as necessary. Thank you. Kate replied, feeling relief as they stepped into the outpost's main concourse. After weeks of uncertainty, your work is known to us. Director Vela continued. The
Human Voxar Exchange Initiative represents exactly the kind of cooperation this outpost was established to promote. We have prepared laboratory space for you to continue your research. The following weeks established a new routine, Kate and Zara, working alongside researchers from a dozen different species, each contributing unique perspectives to shared problems. The outpost became a microcosm of what they had envisioned for the embassy project, proving that interspecies cooperation could thrive given the right environment. Kate found herself adapting once again, learning new languages and customs while sharing human approaches to problem-solving. Zara, too, evolved her typically reserved Voxar nature, opening to emotional connections with other species in ways that would have been unimaginable before meeting Kate. 3 months into their exile, Professor Nick sent crucial news. The Preservation Society leadership has been arrested. Internal communications revealed a coordinated plot to sabotage the exchange program. Evidence of their involvement in the explosion and system breaches has been verified by the Security Council. Is it safe to return? Kate asked during their secure communication. Not yet, Nix cautioned. The political situation remains delicate. But Elder Mix has proposed a modified exchange program to begin rebuilding trust. A small delegation from Earth has been invited to Voxar for preliminary discussions. A delegation? Kate repeated. Whose scientists from your Earth outpost? Nix explained. Your former colleagues volunteered when they learned of your situation. Kate felt emotions surge at the thought of seeing familiar faces from home. Lily Hansen and the others had agreed to continue what she had started, the bridge between worlds growing stronger despite attempts to destroy it that evening. As they watched the gas giant's swirling storms from the observation deck, Kate shared her thoughts with Zara. When we left Earth, I thought I was leaving everything behind. I never imagined my friends would follow in my footsteps. Zara considered this. Perhaps that is the nature of true connection. It inspires others to reach across boundaries. The delegation arrived 2 weeks later. Lily Hansen, now promoted to outpost commander, led the small team of human scientists. Their reunion with Kate filled with tears and laughter as they exchanged stories of all that had happened since her departure. So much has changed at the outpost since you left, Lily told them during dinner that evening. Your messages about Voxar technology inspired us to redesign our entire power system. We're operating at 40% higher efficiency now, and Earth. Kate asked, hungry for news of home, moving slowly toward accepting the reality of other intelligent life. Lily said, some resistance, of course, but curiosity is winning. Especially as the benefits of Voxar technology become apparent, the exchange program has strong support among scientific communities. After the delegation departed, continuing to Voxar, Kate and Zara received regular updates on the developing negotiations. Elder Mix, proving to be a powerful advocate for renewed cooperation, despite lingering suspicions from some quarters. 6 months into their exile, Director Vela approached them with news from Voxar. The Planetary Council has voted to reinstate the exchange program. With modifications, they have specifically requested your return to assist with implementation. Can we trust this? Kate asked, wary. After their previous experience, Professor Nix has personally guaranteed your safety. Vela assured them, and my sources confirm the Preservation Society has been thoroughly discredited. Their remaining supporters lack influence. Zara studied the official communication, feeling cautious optimism. We should return. The work we began is too important to abandon, and this time we will be prepared for opposition. Their return to Voxar was markedly different from their escape. A formal reception awaited them. At the Academy spaceport, Elder Mix herself, leading the welcoming committee, engineer Mitchell, researcher Zara. We acknowledge the injustice you experienced and offer formal restoration of your positions with expanded authority to implement the exchange program. The city had changed during their absence, subtle signs of human influence appearing in public spaces. More artistic expression, less rigid conformity. Even the traditional Voxar greeting had evolved to include elements of human handshakes, a blending of cultures already in progress. Their laboratory had been expanded, now occupying an entire section of the Academy complex, with a dedicated team of researchers from both worlds working together on joint projects. The embassy complex was Under construction at the city's edge, a stunning blend of human and Voxar architectural styles. The most significant change, however, came 3 months after their return, when the first official transport arrived from Earth, bringing not just scientists, but artists, teachers, and cultural ambassadors, a true exchange beginning as humans, and Voxar learned to live and work together. Kate watched from the observation platform as the human visitors took their first steps on Voxar soil, their faces showing the same wonder she had felt a year earlier. Zara stood beside her, their hands joined in what had become a natural gesture between them. "I never imagined it would actually happen," Kate said. "Not like this. Not so quickly." Zara squeezed her hand gently. "When ideas find fertile ground, they grow rapidly. These humans and Voxar will forge connections we cannot yet imagine, just as we did as the exchange program flourished." Kate and Zara found themselves becoming symbols of what could be achieved through openness and understanding, their story told throughout both worlds as an example of how differences could become strengths when embraced rather than feared. One year to the day after their return, Elder Mix summoned them to a private meeting in the council chambers, an unusual request that left them curious and slightly concerned. The elder waited for them, her aged blue skin now showing pale patterns of wisdom. "The highest mark of respect in Voxar culture. I have watched your work with great interest," she began. "The bridges you have built between our worlds extend beyond technology or science." "Thank you, Elder," Kate replied. "We've only tried to show what's possible when different perspectives come together." "Precisely." Mix nodded. "And now I must ask something more of you both, something unprecedented." Zara tilted her head in question. "What do you require?" Elder not. "Require request." Mix corrected the council. "Proposes to establish a new position, joint ambassadors of interspecies relations. You would divide your time between Earth and Voxar, representing both worlds to each other, with authority to develop further exchange initiatives." Kate looked at Zara, sharing a moment of silent communication, before turning back to Elder Mix. "We would be honored, but I have one condition." "Name it," the elder responded. "That we remain partners in all aspects of this work. Zara and I have built something that transcends professional collaboration. Our connection is personal, as well as diplomatic." Elder Mix's expression softened, surprising them with its emotional openness. "That connection is precisely why you are being asked. Your bond demonstrates what is possible between our species. It has already inspired others." Kate felt Zara's hand find hers as they accepted the new role together, ambassadors not just between worlds but between ways of being, proving that differences could become the foundation for something stronger than either could achieve alone. That evening, they stood on the balcony of the newly completed embassy building, watching as humans and Voxar moved through the gardens below, some in animated discussion, others quietly observing the 3 moons rising over the alien landscape. "It started with a casual proposal," Kate mused, thinking back to that moment on the observation deck of Outpost Theta, when she had first suggested the academic exchange, and became something neither of us could have imagined. Zara finished the thought, as she often did, now their minds having grown accustomed to following similar paths. Below them, a young human researcher was demonstrating earth dance movements to a group of curious Voxar students, their bodies attempting to follow the unfamiliar rhythms, awkward at first, then finding harmony in the shared movement. Kate smiled at the sight. "When I was assigned to that remote outpost, I thought I was being sidelined away from important work. I never dreamed I would find the most important connection of my life." There Zara watched the dancers, her expression thoughtful. "Perhaps that is the lesson we should share with both our worlds, that meaningful connections are found not where we expect them, but where we are open to recognize